Hello, everybody. Welcome to TED Talks. I'm Ted Davies, and this is Ted Davies Artistry. This is a recorded session, so if you guys are looking for the live one, sorry, but the guest today is pretty important, so I want to make sure and that we have her on, but I want to make sure it's within her schedule, and that's why we're recording this. So we're recording this Saturday before this is going to air, which is Tuesday morning now, I guess, in the future. So but today we've got Keisha Acuff, and she is an upcoming author, artist that I respect a lot. And I think that she's got a lot to offer as far as the new creatives that are coming up into the industry. And I want you guys to see, her journey a little bit and what she's all about. And, there's really no reason that you can't be an aspiring artist and author in today's world, especially with the internet and everything else. Keisha's doing it in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I mean, literally, I mean, she's not by a big city, at least from what I know. And she's doing this, you know, amongst the acreage. And I think it's a pretty awesome thing. So I want you guys to take note of that. In any case, first off, let's start TED Talks with what's in the coffee cup. So I've got Columbus Beach today with Indian River Roasting Company. Let's see what they do. Here at Ted Davies Artistry, we take coffee seriously. And so does our sponsor, Indian River Roasting Company. It's fair trade, organic, and they're artisans just like me. The only difference is I use watercolor and ink and they use coffee beans. And I enjoy it all through my day. So do yourself a favor, go to the description when you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Find Indian River Roasting Company's website, use the promo code CaffeinateTED2021, and save 10% on your purchase. Yeah, so find the website in the description under IndianRiverRoastingCompany.com. Use CaffeinateTED2021 to save 10% on your caffeine order. So also, let's check out what John Cashman's doing down in Bay City, Michigan at Cashman's Comics.
And every day I wake up feeling the same way now. Need to find something to believe. Every night the dreams we made, they're haunting my head now.
Yeah, check out everything that John's doing down in Bay City. Cashman'sComics.com. If you need something as far as comic books, indie published comic books like mine, as well as my other books, are down there as well. He'll ship nationwide. And say hi to Petey the dog if you're lucky enough to go down there to Bay City, Michigan, and get to shop in the comic book shop. They are awesome. Tell them TED Talk sent you. And yeah, I think you guys will enjoy it. So check out everything that John's doing on cashmanscomics.com. We also want to talk about the Da Vinci of resin, Damien Walbram. He does all my figures and all my action figures for all the different IPs that I have, intellectual properties. So let's check out what he does. Yeah, Damien's quite an artist in his own right. He's an artist as well as a sculptor, so he is awesome. If you need anything done in resin as far as action figures or figures for your different things that you're doing, whether it's miniatures or anything else, he's the man to go to and check out. He does everything for us here at Ted Davies Artistry. We also, I don't have the book in front of me, but up here, if you can see Comics Unlimited, Glenn B. Fleming is also a sponsor of this show, and Comics Unlimited is the publication that he puts out. He is on Glenn B. Fleming on Amazon. You can check out what they're doing. He's also got the next installment of Comics Unlimited, the last one for the year 2021. And it's also showcasing moi and my journey with my Retrieve comic book to Hollywood. So check that one out. It is awesome. It's a really good publication, and they've got just a ton of information about comic books in general, comics history, as well as independent creators and that. It's just a fantastic book. So check out what Glenn does with that. Comics Unlimited under Glenn B. Fleming on Amazon. Check that out. So with no further ado, well, actually, I've got one more thing to do. We've got to talk about our affiliation with the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Check out everything we're doing 7 days a week. We're a group of creatives that help creatives build their business. And I know that Keisha's part of this menagerie of misfits that help each other build their businesses. So let's bring her up. Hi,
Hi.
how you doing?
Thank you for having me on the
Oh,
show, Ted.
my pleasure. My pleasure. It's long overdue, Keisha. So we ask everybody when you start with TED Talks, when did you land on this planet? When did they drop you off?
Ooh, back in way back in the day, 1991. So
A
I'm a
youngster.
90s baby.
Youngster. Yes. Yep. And my kids are too. So if that makes you feel any better. Um,
A little.
yeah, I graduated in 89. So that was, yeah, I was in college in 91. So that's good though. It's a good year. Good year. So where were you? Where were you dropped off? What state?
Uh, Illinois. So
Okay.
I'm still here. I have not stayed here, but I'm back here. So
That's
um,
good. Good.
yes.
That could be, I mean, that could be worse. Illinois is pretty, I mean, it's a big state. It's a really big state. Um,
Um, I don't mind the area that I'm in right now,
mhm.
but I've lived in better.
Fair enough. What was your first job as a kid?
My first job as a kid was actually I used to babysit some of the local neighborhood children.
Got it. And what was that like? Was it entertaining
Um,
or was it a burden?
at one time, they actually climbed me like a tree while saying, "You're a tree, you're a tree."
Yeah.
So, um, that was fun. They were a wealthier family, and they
Hmm.
had a huge hot tub bathtub
Hmm.
type thing going on.
Yeah.
And I remember when I used to have to spend the night over, like, that was my favorite thing. I would hop in the bathtub and
Sure.
take a huge
Heck
bubble
yeah.
bath
Yep.
if I had to watch the kids overnight. So,
That you got to have some type of some type of relief from that. That I'm sure it wasn't an easy thing. No matter if they
oh
have
yeah.
money or not, it's not an easy thing if the kids are, I'm sure they weren't holy terrors, but you know what I'm saying. I'm sure you
There
had
was
your
four of them, and I think if I remember correctly, all of them were under the age of 6.
mm, Lord.
Um, so
Sounds like a prison sentence. Yeah, I
it
don't know
was
if I
fun.
like it.
So little fact about me, I've
Mhm.
always wanted like 12 kids.
Yeah.
Um, I actually, well, when I was younger, I wanted to be a nun. When
Mm.
I was a little girl, I wanted to be a nun, and my grandma sat me down one day and she's like, "Keisha, if you want to be a nun, you realize they can't have kids, right?" And I was like,
What?
"No." I was like, "Okay, so I'm not going to be a nun anymore. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom."
Understand that.
And so my school, I actually had to do a presentation about what I wanted to do when I grew up for my senior year for
Mhm.
graduation. And um, you were supposed to job shadow and you were supposed to do all this other stuff, which I did, but it was a stay at home mom. And they were looking for, what they considered a real job.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, which is
I got a
fine.
C minus on that report just because they were like, you have to choose something you have to go to college for. And I was like, I can go to college to teach my kids. I don't know
Yeah.
what good it's gonna do them, but
Well, that's the truth, though. Real quick, because we've got sometimes the internet's a little spotty today. We've had some major storms move in this week, so just bear with us. But the audio's fine. I can hear everything okay, so don't worry about it. We're gonna roll with this.
okay.
Well, and I know that sometimes when as I'm the youngest of five kids, and and my aunts were nuns, and I was supposed to be the priest in the family, and I'm sorry, I just enjoy women too much, and, I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. So, so I understand that part of it as far as, wanting, kids and that kind of thing. What was, why a nun? Why?
Ooh, um,
What
well,
made you think that was such a inspiring it's a brilliant career, don't get me wrong. It's a very much a vocation, it is.
I'm actually not even Catholic. I was at the time,
Mhm.
um, but I was raised Catholic. However, it was kind of all a mystery to me
Yeah,
because my family was a split family.
yeah.
My mom didn't really go to church at all, and
Mhm.
my dad didn't either. But we'd go on Christmas and everything. Uh, and I don't know why, but I was just like I loved I loved the
It's very romantic in a lot of respects, I get it. I
I
get that, but
I like isolation. I live in the middle of nowhere if you didn't get that. Um so in my brain, living in a monastery or whatever you call wherever nuns live, um that sounded beautiful to me.
yeah. Well,
And
there's my wife calls it a nunnery, which that always just caps me. I hate that. There's a couple different terms for monasteries where monks are, a lot of
yeah.
or priests.
Oh, I would also be a monk if I could have the chance.
Yeah, right. And that's cool. I totally understand that. Not to cut you off, but and the nunnery thing it always sounds like a vineyard or something to me, like they make nuns there or something. I don't know. It always bothers me. But the convent is where we used to go when I would in southern Indiana. I would be summers if we didn't go overseas to my dad's homeland in Wales. We would go to the convents to go see my aunts, and it's hot and it's not necessarily air conditioned, and there's a lot of pig farms, and it was an education unto itself. So, but I love my aunts dearly. They're both moved on, now, but yeah, I love them dearly.
I
So
think it
anyway, I'll
was
talk about them
also
someday. But
the fact that my cousin's family was super in church, like every weekend, that kind of thing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was always kind of jealous of them.
Well, right. I understand. I can get that. I can understand
And
that.
I wasn't even baptized. So when I finally had my little brothers, who are now 18 and 17,
Hmm.
um, I was quite a bit older than them. And they all got baptized, and I wasn't baptized. So at the age of 13, I was like, you know what? I really want to be baptized because I'm the only one that's not baptized. So that kind of
Hmm.
fueled it a little bit. And then
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
found
And you
out the
want to be
whole
part of
no
the group.
kids.
You want
I
to be
found
part of
out
that.
the whole no kids thing, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work for me.
Right. Well, I mean, you came by it honestly. You weren't like forced into it. That was the only thing. I'm not Catholic anymore. But I know that there's, I still think that base was really good to have. I mean, my parents
Yeah.
meant well. My dad wasn't Catholic either, and everybody thought he was growing up. Everybody, and then until he was, I think, God, it was 1980. So I was 10, 11 when he converted. But he went to church every Sunday. He didn't take communion or anything, but he was with my mom every Sunday, and everybody just thought dad was Catholic. He wasn't. And that's a really, I think it's a very personal choice, whatever religious background you want. I think it's important that you choose it. I wasn't always a big
Yes.
fan of, uh, it was my parents' religion, and that's why I didn't really like. I think I went to Catholic school, went to all that, did the whole thing, the altar boy thing, and it's good for some, but just it wasn't my path.
Thankfully, I
Um,
never had to be an altar boy.
yeah. That's cool
Um,
though. I'll tell you what, it was kind of cool in some respects. So I mean, you did learn. There was a lot of you got to do a lot of things, you know. But it was I don't know. It was just it was over. It was a lot to take. It was just a lot. We had to go to church every day when I went to parochial school, and it was I don't know. It was just too much. It was just too much.
my son goes to a private Catholic school, so I completely understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, and um, there's some really great schools and really great people and really great priests and nuns and then there's not. So I mean, you've got to balance it out, and you've got to really see, what it I don't like the term cafeteria Catholic, but sometimes you have to take, what you like out of certain religious um what's the word I'm looking for? Not campaigns. Religious theories and that, and you have to kind of make it your own in some regards.
So
And mhm.
actually in high school, I ran away,
Yeah.
but um, I ended up leaving my dad's house, which was very bittersweet. And then not long after that, I left my mom's house and I was still 16.
Wow.
Um, and I was living on my own and I was traveling all over the place.
Hmm.
And a few of like at that point is when I kind of went on my I need to find something that I belong
Hmm.
to. So I
Okay.
went to every church I could possibly think of that I could actually get into.
Hmm.
And so through that, I actually found out what I consider myself is eclectic. So, like I I will find something from a specific religious space and I'm like, okay, I really love the emphasis this one puts on family, or I really love the emphasis this one puts on a certain thing. And
Hmm.
then like I kind of ball them in and I'm like, this is what I am. I'm a little bit of
Okay.
everything.
I'm digging that. I'm a big fan of David Bowie, and he said it. I think he said it best, and he's quite remarkable guy. He was pretty out there, but he said
So
that.
just an
Yeah.
FYI, David
Yeah.
Bowie was my first crush ever,
Okay.
and I'm obsessed with him. So
Okay. Well, then you probably know what he said then. He said he said religion is for the people that fear hell. Spirituality is for the ones that have walked through it. And I think that is probably the truest sense of what and again, I think I paraphrased that, but essentially that statement. Um and I think that is really the truth of it all. People
yeah,
ask me, I'm more of a Taoist. I just study a lot of Buddhism, but Taoism is really what I've embraced and what I really think it makes the most sense to me, philosophical Taoism. I'm not knocking any type of faith at all. But when it's, you've got to be comfortable. As a creative, you got to be comfortable.
I
You know.
actually practice. I actually so I think I've actually showed you this before. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's
Um,
good.
but so I practice a little bit as well. So I
Sure.
bought this for my
That's
children
awesome.
because
Yeah.
um, uh, I read through it too.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, I take things from a little bit of everywhere, and I'm like, you know what? This this is what resonates with me, and
Yeah.
then I hold on to that. And for me, a lot of the mindfulness that comes with Buddhism and Taoism and stuff like
Yeah.
that, that's what I really love
Hmm. I agree with
because
it.
the world is definitely not a mindful place right now.
No. No. Well,
Um,
no, it is it is in certain circles. I mean, I consider
yes,
you. I know that I could have a conversation with you, and we would actually get something out of it. You know what I mean? As far as making the world a better place, I know we
yeah,
would. But it's not always for there's a lot of blinders still on for a lot
yeah.
of the world, unfortunately. But
But
there,
hopefully one day that changes. I've got a
yeah,
lot of hope.
I do too. And I
I'm very
think that,
optimistic.
yeah, I am too. And I think us as spiritual beings, I think that we need to have that. I think we miss out on the whole if I can get kind of crazy on it, we miss out on the whole human experience because we get too involved in what's going on around us. Even I do that. I know,
Yeah.
whether the pump's
We
running on
need
the
to learn
well
to
or
be more
whatever, you know what I mean? It's
present.
exactly, and it's hard.
Yes.
Then us as creatives, we have anxiety or depression or whatever you want to call it,
Oh, yeah, all the fun
right?
stuff. We've
Right,
got
and
this
then you
little bag full of different
exactly.
things,
The only
because
thing, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you
Yeah,
know that I have, like, I have anxiety and I've got
sure.
ADHD,
Hmm.
and so, like, I think, honestly, in order to be a creative, generally you have something like that.
I think, yeah, and you've heard me say it on other shows, I'm sure. I think that's kind of God's, and I that's one thing I don't. That's why I don't like Buddhism, because I think that they miss the. There is some divine. There's got to be something divine around it. There's got to be some type of intervention. That's the only thing I don't like about Buddhism, because they don't really consider God important, which is okay with me. But I think that there is a God, and she has a very quirky sense of humor. I think that, you've got all this creativity. Hey, you can draw, you can create, you can make the world a better place, but here's a bag of anxiety. Here's your burden.
Here you
Um,
go, have some
here you go.
ADHD so you
Enjoy,
can't
enjoy,
focus on what you
and
want to do.
enjoy your human experience. And I think that a lot of us have that. I really do. And you know, whether it's Van Gogh or whoever, I think I'm not comparing myself to Van Gogh, but you know what I mean. That to give
I
somebody
understand what you're
an
saying.
idea, right? And I
Yeah.
think that we're burdened with some of it to give us humility, because I mean, we are gods in a lot of respects. I mean, we can create some amazing things, no matter if you can draw or not. I mean, the written word is a very powerful thing, which you're showing people now. We're gonna be talking about that a little bit in this show too. Um, the What's the best advice you would give somebody who's looking for another spiritual path without? And what I mean by that is being careful about where they go with it, because there's so many rabbit holes right now with the internet, especially.
I would like to say nothing is perfect. If you think you're going to find a perfect religion, a perfect spirituality, anything like that, it does not exist. Um, I've been to countless different churches over the years, and each one is right in their own way. But if you're looking for something that is perfect, it does not exist, and you won't find it, and you will get really disappointed if you try. Um, I did think I got pretty close several times. Um, and you know what? That's when I learned that I just needed to be I don't know how to say it, inclusive. So like I would sit there and be okay, I really like what you guys are doing with this, and I really like what you guys are doing with this. And that's how I kind of just like um I don't want to say formed my own religious beliefs, but I just took what pertained to me and what I felt resonated with me, and I kept that. Because honestly, if I tried to go to any one specific church, I've actually been told I'm going to hell by several
Yeah.
of them.
Sure.
um,
Sure.
so just don't look for perfect. Look for what fits you and your personality and your style, because that's the only way you're going to get anywhere with anything like that. If you try to force yourself into a box, just because somebody else says this is exactly how you're supposed to do it, um, so much of my life would not have happened.
I'm 100% with you. There's we live in boxes, and then we're buried in one. It doesn't mean that we choose the boxes that we inhabit, and that whether it's your home,
Yes.
whether it's your own psychological box, um, and I think that everybody's got their own path, spiritual path, whatever. I think that, and I've always felt that when you start regimenting people into a certain belief system, and wars are fought, where millions of people have been killed over that type of idea, and mentality, and if you want to call it that, uh, and it's a really scary thing. I would rather you pick out what you're comfortable with and what resonates with you, um, as long as it doesn't affect uh, the people around you in a negative way. That's
Yes,
my
as
thing.
long as you are being a decent human being,
Yes.
because I know
Yeah.
a lot of people that use religious beliefs and ideations
Mm-hmm.
as a way to
It's a weapon.
um
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
they'll be like, well, I'm bigoted against this group of people because
I'm
my
like,
religious says I'm supposed to be.
yeah,
And
and
it's
I'm like,
like,
what? Yeah. Right.
that's where the red flags come in, and I'm like,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
that is
And I've
not
and I've
how that
seen it.
is.
I've seen it countless times. I've seen people that, I've really loved and respected over the years change. I mean, change on a dime. And I'm like, you can't believe that, really. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, you know, and it seems like there's no, we don't see people's perspectives. And that's one thing about you that I know that who you are, at least from how I feel about it, you are humbling in that respect because you have seen some things, but you try to put yourself a little bit in people's shoes a little bit when before you
That's
make a
why
judgment call, you know?
that's why I've always lived by um I don't hate
Hmm.
anyone. I have people that if chosen to, I've been threatened by them, I've been treated horribly by them,
Hmm.
but I refuse to do the same because what I do is I put myself into other people's shoes way too much. And
I
I'm
got you.
like, yes, I realize they hate me, but I realize why in their head they hate me. And so for me, I'm just like,
Well,
you
it
know,
says more about them.
I
It,
can't be mad at them for something that they feel.
yeah.
Uh, One of the things that I always used to, I can't remember it verbatim right now, but basically the gist of it is you shouldn't care what others' opinions of you are because um, everybody has an opinion
Hmm.
and everybody sees something from a different perspective. You might think, hey, I'm doing something good for the community. I'm doing something this way. But in another retrospect, somebody could perceive it as different. They could be like, yeah, she's collecting. I Okay, so I did a food drive. So
Hmm.
like she's collecting food for the food pantry. But then there's people that were like, well, what they saw it from a different perspective and they're like, it's just in my head, yeah, something like that would be a good thing, and in their head that's not what they see it as. And
Hmm.
they see it as, well, you're enabling people to not work. You're enabling people to do this. And it's like,
Mm. That's
I've had that come up and I'm like, you know, yes.
you don't know what they're going through. You don't know
Yeah,
what people this has been the last 2 years have been unbelievable on people. And
exactly.
and
And
I'm, yeah,
unfortunately that's how it is everybody's perceives something different than what you do. Even
yeah,
if you think you 100% agree with somebody on something, there's always going to be something that you disagree on. That's never like that's a given. And so something you perceive as good might be something somebody else perceives as bad. So
yeah.
opinions are that's just how they work.
You're, eh, the thing that I like about you too is that you don't let people change you. And I know it's frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating. I've go through it too. I know I hear people, you hear this line or you hear somebody say something or somebody writes something on Facebook. It's just like, God, and it's hard not to be cancel culture mindseted, in a lot of
Yeah.
respects. It's like, God, I'm just going to snooze them for 30 days because I can't handle this right now. You know
Well,
what I
you've
mean?
seen
And
my artwork, correct? Yeah.
yeah, and I love it though. But that's
um
different. And we'll go through that too because your expression, the way that you express yourself is fantastic.
a
Um,
lot of people do not agree with my artwork.
well,
So,
welcome to my my problem. Not even my problem, and that's their problem. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
yes.
Whatever.
So like at this point I just learned to or I try. I am like I said, nobody and nothing is perfect. Um I would love to be the person that does what she wants when she wants and not think about the consequences of, hey, is somebody else going to like this or is
Yeah,
somebody going to think I'm completely bat crazy
yeah.
because of this? Because those thoughts do go through my mind. It's just with the kind of art and writing I do,
Hmm.
um, I get those side looks of,
Well, that's
Are
also the
you okay?
is this a regional thing? Is it local? Do you think it's just a local, just the not mentality, but just the perception locally,
Mm,
or is it on the
you
internet,
know what?
or is it
I'm not
like
really
away from?
sure. A lot of it is a, I do get a lot of feedback from family. A lot of
Yeah,
my friends are like, "Keisha, you do whatever you want. You're good.
right. Yeah,
We still
you
love
get that
you."
from me. Yeah, you've always been that way with
And
me. I've always
so,
do it.
you know, it's hard for me when I have a family member come up to me and be like, people might actually like your artwork if you like weren't creepy.
Yeah. You know
And
what
I'm
I
like,
would yeah, I love
but
the you know what I would
that's
do? No, I
not
really don't
how
care
I
what you know.
function.
Yeah, right. Well, you're expressing that moment in time. There's nothing there's nothing wrong with that. I get the ones that, I've said this before in my other shows. I get the ones that give me advice I never asked for. You know what I would do? No, I really don't give a shit about what you do. I really don't care. You've never picked up a pencil in your life. What are you talking about? What you would do? I've got people
Yeah.
that enjoy my artwork and that are inspired somewhat, I hope, by what I do. And people are inspired by what you do because you're giving them license to do something that might be creepy. That's great. And that's you know what I mean? Don't take it don't
I
let people snuff you out in that
One of
regard.
my favorite things is about a year ago, one of my friends came up to me and she's like, "Keisha, thank you." I was like, "For what?" And she's like, "Because my son looks up to you." She's
Wow.
like, "He does creepy artwork too, and he was always afraid to show people that, hey, this is my artwork." And then he saw you posting your artwork and he was like, "Hey, if Keisha's" okay, some people perceive me as a normal human being. I'm not sure
Mhm.
why. Um but he was like, if Keisha is Keisha and she posts this kind of artwork and she doesn't have a problem with it, then maybe my artwork isn't bad. And let me tell you, this kid, uh he's definitely going to go somewhere. Like
Mhm.
he has the skills, and I really hope he sticks with it, because if even I, pushed him over the edge of, hey, just show your work just a little bit from what I post, then that's all that I care about. I don't really care about all the people that see something wrong with my art or my
Well,
writing.
you're gonna end up resonating, and you're gonna teach him as well. He's gonna end up having a group that's gonna resonate. One of the things that I'm concerned with on a lot of things, creepy does not mean malicious or destructive, or murderous or anything like that. Creepy is creepy fun in a way. So it can be very. Well, let me show people. I'm going to bring up. I know it's going
Oh,
to kind
go
of.
for it.
It's going to just be one of the things about you is that you're, and I know it's blocking us out, but just bear with me for a minute. The thing that I like about you is that it's raw and in the moment, and these are just picks, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what's cool about what you're doing is tell people about you're on these exhibitions, you're doing these shows, and you're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, literally. I mean, for me, I'm in the middle of nowhere too, up in Michigan, but I'm close to Detroit. I'm close to there's other hubs that are around here. Um, where you're at is very rural, and to be honest, and how did you come about with this? I mean, these shows, these expositions. I think we might have lost you. I'll wait for you to come back. But I think what we'll do is I'm also going to talk about. There you go.
Okay,
You're back.
sorry about that.
No
Okay,
problem. No
so
problem.
we'll just pick up.
Yeah,
You were asking
right where we're at.
about
How do you set up the expositions? Like if
exhibitions.
you, yeah, exhibitions. Where do you where? Okay, so you're in the middle of nowhere. There's got to be a town somewhere around you,
Yes.
right? Okay. So what's the
So the most local place for me to show my artwork is an hour away.
okay? enough.
So my most recent show was in a town called Peoria,
Well,
and
it's a pretty big town. Yep, it's a pretty big town.
I actually had an entire storefront
Mm,
for a month. I believe it was in August is when I had it up because I
mhm,
haven't done a show since then. I was getting things done with my book and whatnot, but
sure.
yeah. So I generally have to travel quite a bit to get my artwork shown. Um, I ended up getting the exhibit in Peoria because one of my friends in town in Varna was like, "Hey, my daughter found something," and her daughter uh, tagged me in something on Facebook and was like, "Hey, Keisha, uh,
Cool.
why don't you look into this?" And I submitted some of my artwork and I said, "Hey, thanks for even thinking about
Mhm,
whatever." And
mhm.
I submitted a few pieces and they actually picked me. So I was very excited and
Awesome.
I got to go do an entire storefront. Um, I don't know if you can, but I can
Mhm.
actually send you the picture of the storefront really quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll put it on.
Um,
If you send it in private chat, I'll see if I can bring it up. I'll see, or email, whatever, however you want to do it, or messenger. We can
yes.
figure that out. Just let me know where and how.
So I did that show and it was a blast. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, I found a bunch of pictures. Um, but so that is how I ended up doing that one. Uh, a few years ago, going the other direction,
Hmm.
um, my friend ended up opening up a art studio in Ottawa, Illinois.
Got it.
And she was like, "Hey, we started talking about it, and I ended up getting into several shows there. The show that you had just showed a couple minutes ago called
Yeah.
Approximate Abstraction,
Hmm.
that one right there was at her art studio.
Got it.
So that
Okay.
was a complete solo exhibit. So that all of that was my artwork. The entire thing was mine.
Wow.
Um, so I've done several there. And then there is several other places that I've had my artwork shown. I just keep trying to put myself out there as much as I can. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
So
Got it.
I
There you
put
go.
myself out there as much as I can, and I keep working on it because that's what you have to do. You can't just
That's
create
period. Yeah.
something and not like, oh, there's a lot of people out there that create and then they never end up doing anything with it.
Right.
But
Well, and they
I
don't. Yeah, they don't share it, or they don't have a
was,
opportunity. They don't get on shows like this. They don't. Yeah. They just don't.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
So
Well,
every
go ahead.
opportunity that I get, I try
Hmm.
to put myself out there.
That's
So
good.
I'm actually going to,
Did you send another one on this too, or no? Did you have another picture on this? We got some of the. See if we've got
show
something here.
you guys.
Hmm.
So there's an exhibit that I do every. I can. I actually have several pictures on there
I do. All right. Let me bring them up. I know we're kind of breaking up a bit on here. Just
of
bear with
that.
me.
I'll send you the
That's your picture.
uh,
Okay. Hold on.
green room.
Got it.
Yes,
Like I said, we have a lot of
it's
high winds
okay.
in that, guys. So just bear with us on that. Let's see what I've got here. Let me see what I have here on this one. Bring this up. Oh, yeah. I see. Okay. So let's see what we've got here. All right. That one, yeah, that one was actually, let me bring that up here in a second. Let me take this one out of here and then we'll bring up the next one. Bear with me. Okay. Whoops. I think we lost her. So I'll have to take a second here. I'm going to pulled this up. Oh, she comes back into the show here. There we go. Let's get rid of this one. And then we will pull that back up. Just take a second. There's that one. Let's see what we got here. I'll share that. There we go. There you go. You're back? Okay. It's not a problem. Can you hear me okay? Are you back? I don't know if you're muted or not. I can't hear you. But here's the other picture.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
We're having just a fun day today.
I don't.
It's okay. It's just because of the weather and stuff. We've had a heck of a time with it. Yeah, this is the one that you showed us last night. This is pretty cool. I don't think it's creepy, but I think it's a pretty awesome illustration. I don't think it's bad.
Okay, I
can
think we're
There you
back.
go. Okay, there we go. I don't think
Okay.
this is a bad illustration. I think this is great. Creepy. I think if I saw that at night coming after me, I'd be freaked. But it's very cool nonetheless.
Thank you. So yeah, that's why a lot of people don't really agree with my artwork.
Mm,
Because I do a little bit more creepy stuff.
yeah,
But I also do a lot of abstract.
yeah. I noticed that too. And that's
So
did you bring that up on the Facebook or no? On that
um
one?
let me see. I sent another one of my last exhibit just through the window.
Yeah,
There
that
we
one.
go.
Yep.
That was the storefront.
Yep.
So I was able to decorate the entire area and do whatever I wanted with it. So that
Hmm.
is the last show that I did.
That's great.
Um,
That's good.
okay, so that's the last actual like showing that I did.
Yeah.
But I run a farmers market, and up
Yes.
until the end of October, early November, I was showing my artwork every weekend
Yeah.
at the farmers market.
Right.
So
That's good. And I know that your farmers market's a little bit different than ours, but it's still you've had at least you get eyes on it. Um,
yes.
that's a hard thing. I haven't Chris does, a farmers market every Saturday during, between May and October with her company Wicked Weeds, and we do all kinds of stuff for that dry goods and that. But I've never brought any of my artwork there. Everything is all about her. I didn't want to
Yeah.
detract from what she's doing because she does such an awesome job. Not that I would be able to detract from it, but yeah, and that's not an easy thing, because people aren't there necessarily to see art or to see, So I kudos to you for doing that because I think it's opening a lot of doors for other artists too in time, you know, at the market,
I
maybe.
do want to give, so I have been doing something called TAE,
Okay.
Twitter art exhibit,
Okay. Cool.
for the last 5 years, I want to say.
Hmm.
And it's another way that I tend to get my artwork out.
All right.
Um, so
I'm gonna
they
bring that up
actually,
full. Oh wow, that's really pretty.
so this one is not mine.
Hmm.
Um, this one is mine.
That's cool though. I love it. That's awesome.
But uh, every year, what they do is artists from all over the world
Hmm.
collectively donate a piece of art.
To
And so
to the
I actually
anthology.
have
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
several of them.
That's awesome.
But uh, artists from around the world donate artwork, and then the artwork is actually sold. Like this one was in, I can't pronounce that, Cheltenham,
Hmm.
which is in a different country completely. This one was in Myrtle Beach, so I knew where
Okay,
this
close
one.
to home. Yep.
And this one was in Edinburgh.
Oh,
I
cool.
believe that's how you
Scotland.
spell it
Yeah.
or say
Yep.
it.
It's awesome.
So they have this big showing, and it's an actual exhibit where they
Okay.
show all of the artwork that was collected and donated. And then each year they pick a different charity
Mm-hmm.
to donate the money that they make to.
That's
And
awesome.
each year it's in a different country, different state.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually, that is my next project. Is I am working on my artwork for that.
Good.
So if anybody there, they have open, uh, I guess open enrollment or something like that. I don't know what you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
where you can sign up to send in your artwork,
Interesting.
and then you get to be in a an exhibit for free,
Mm-hmm.
but you also get to help certain causes, which is
That's
always a
great.
good thing.
Yeah, good.
So maybe you should look into that.
All right, we'll do. You need
But
to send me the link. I'll definitely look into it. I will
okay,
definitely look
awesome.
at it. Do they
Yeah.
have do they have like a certain number of how many they accept, or is it?
Oh no, every year it's a different number. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's thousands of people, sometimes it's hundreds of people.
It's great.
But it's from the all over the world.
Awesome.
They have
Yeah, I'd love to do
uh,
that. I'd love
artwork.
to be part of that. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, send me the
So
link. I would
I will
love to check
send
that
you
out.
that. But that is my next thing that I'm working on.
Very good.
Technically, I'm finishing up working on my book.
Right, and we're going to
Um,
talk about that. I want to talk
but
about, but go ahead. I'll let you finish the.
art wise, that is my next exhibit that I'm going to be working on,
Sounds
is
good.
getting my artwork for that.
That's good. Well, I might too now that you say that. I've got a lot going on right now, but okay, but yeah, definitely send me the link on that. I want to talk about these two books, Coast to Coast and then Freedom.
Yes.
Are these are anthologies, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay, tell everybody about these two.
Okay, so Coast to
Mhm.
Coast was actually the first, or actually the second anthology I've been in.
Okay,
I also
Freedom
have,
was the first, or no?
no. So
No.
I have one that you actually do not have
Mm,
a picture of, and it
okay,
is, I'm
you
trying
got
to
it here.
think. Oh, I don't think I have it over
That's
here.
no problem.
Um, but my first anthology was actually an anthology of children's poetry.
Mm, very
Uh,
cool.
I did not make any money off of it. It was
It's
it
funny how
was a
those work. Yeah,
yeah, it
right.
was a
Yeah.
donation. So what I basically did is I wrote and I donated my words to a
Hmm.
book, and all of the proceeds from buying the book, it's actually called Children's Poetry. Um, but all of the donations from the book go to um, different like third world countries
Hmm.
and teach children about literature and poetry. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of it
Sure.
um, so I can send it to you.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was my first one. And I did enjoy that. It was great. It was fun working. I did not really agree with a couple of the things. They edited my some of my work before
Isn't
they,
that nice? Yeah. Wow. So you did it for free and they edited it.
but
That's very nice of them. What can you do? So, I mean, that's part of the game. Like I said, we have a few things with the internet, but if we lose you, we'll get you back. Um, but having said that, I don't know if you guys can check out where these are located. We can find them out. We can see. I don't know, but that's we're gonna try to get that other picture over here too, and then see what else we've got. These high winds have just been brutal. A lot of people we've had down in Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois have had really just terrible, terrible storms moving in. Let me see if I can get this on here for Keisha here while we're waiting for her to pop back on here. There it is. Okay, let's see what we got here. She'll hop back on in a second here. And then I will see if I can bring that up. Think we'll be able to Move that over there, maybe. Nope. Nope. Maybe not. We'll see what we can do here. Let's eliminate this one. See if we can bring this up. Sorry about that. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get the, there we go. We got it. Is that working?
Yes. So
Okay.
this is actually the first anthology I did, which I really enjoyed doing, just because I love being able to do things from different perspectives. And I normally didn't write, children's poetry, but I was like,
Sure.
you know what? I put myself in the headspace, and I was like, yeah, I can do this.
Sure.
So it was really fun. So this was actually my first one that I did. And then I ended up doing the other two that you showed, which
Got
is
it.
the Coast to Coast and the Freedom.
Got it. So that was the second one, and then you had Freedom was the third. Is that how they
Yes.
went? Very good.
So Freedom actually came out
Yep.
this year.
Where can they find them? Where can you purchase
You
these? Do
can
you know?
actually find them. You can actually find them in Barnes and Noble.
Really?
Yeah.
Big time.
So if you go on Barnes and Noble and just type in my name, Keisha Acuff, and the title of Freedom, or even Google it. If you Google my name and book this,
Yeah.
I do pop up,
That's cool.
which is nice
Check you
and
out big
weird.
time. All right. Okay, cool. Big
But
time. Big time author. All right, cool.
yeah, this is actually so Eddie, the first one on
Yep.
the list,
Mhm.
I became friends with him several years
On
ago,
Coast to
and
Coast or on Freedom? Which one?
Coast to Coast was the first one, and Freedom
Yep.
was the second one. So
Okay.
it's a yearly anthology.
Mhm.
But Coast to Coast was, of course, based off of right after the pandemic hit.
Mhm. Right.
Um,
Hence
we kind of went with
the
the raw emotion
yeah.
of what it's like in isolation and what it's like being afraid to go outside in general and all these other
Mhm.
things
Yep.
and things that we missed. So that's kind of what that's based off of. I actually have artwork,
Mhm.
photography, and writing in both of
Wow.
them.
That's great.
So, yeah,
And
it's
that's
just a couple
excellent.
different pieces, but
That's good
we
though.
worked hard on it, and they are both free, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
The children's poetry one, since it is
Mhm.
for raising funds, is
Yeah.
not free, obviously. But
Mhm.
Coast to Coast and Freedom are both free anthologies. So if you
Really?
look them up, you can just click and download and read.
Wow. That's great.
Um,
Okay.
and a lot of the people are from uh, different places. We have people
Mhm.
from France, we have people from Uganda, that
Wow.
kind of
So
stuff.
it's completely
Um,
global. Wow. That's awesome.
yes, so that's why if you read through the names are so vastly different
Diverse. Yeah.
because that's just we're all from a little bit of everywhere.
It's a global, yeah, it's a global
Yes.
publication.
And
That's great.
so while you read them, it kind of gives you the perspective from not only where you live, like
Mhm.
the US, but it gives you perspectives of what's going on around the world
Mhm.
during this specific time.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
and so Freedom came out this year, so it was kind of uh, a follow up of Coast to Coast because this one is more of what we get to do when we finally have the freedom to start doing things again.
Yeah, right.
Because a
Right.
lot of countries and places shut down completely
Sure. It's
and you
it's
weren't
still
allowed to go
happening, right?
out. Yeah.
You know.
And so, like, even right now, people are still shutting down again.
Yeah,
My
right.
son's school actually
Mhm.
contacted us this morning and they're going back to remote learning.
Yeah. I think that
Um,
I think we're gonna be living with it. That's just the way it's gonna be. And I don't
so,
we'll
yeah.
figure it out. We'll figure it out, but it's yeah, you know.
So,
You
I
and I
mean, it's
you and
still
I've never met.
affecting.
We've never met, and I'm thankful because I have a fleet of people that have never really met in person, But if it hadn't happened, I don't think I would have met you. Otherwise, we might have seen each,
Yeah, there's
this.
so many different things
So
that had to
I
fall
don't.
into place to
Yeah,
get to where we
exactly.
are.
So I don't know. I mean, it's terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's a horrific thing that's
Yes.
happening. But um, I want to take the last few minutes and I want to talk about your actual, the first novel that you're bringing
Yes.
out. And can I bring up the cover if you don't mind?
Go for it.
All right, cool. So we've got. I want to find out a little bit more about this story. So,
Yes.
who did the cover?
So, Carl Witzman did the
Awesome.
cover. He is one of my biggest fans. No,
Yeah, I love
maybe. I
Carl.
don't I
I love
think
Carl.
he might be one of my biggest fans.
Yeah, well,
Um,
we both are. Yeah, we both are.
yes.
Yeah, he's
But
terrific.
he is awesome and he has been working on this. We're still tweaking it a little bit here and there.
Hmm.
Um, but this is pretty much the gist of it for right now.
Okay,
Um,
that's good. That's good.
and
So
it
tell what's the synopsis? I mean, let's get
okay,
into it.
so I haven't actually had to tell anybody the synopsis yet.
Let's do
Um,
it.
so let's do this. Okay,
Okay.
so I actually wrote this 6 years ago, I
Hmm.
believe. I never thought it would actually see the light of day. Thanks, guys.
Hmm. There you go.
um, so I wrote it about 6 years ago, and um, I didn't really do anything after it because, like I said, I do have ADHD, and it is not treated. So my brain
Hmm.
goes where it wants to when it wants to,
Hmm.
and normally, if I complete something or finish something, my brain is like, okay, that's it. This
Yep.
is done. I never want to see it again.
Yep.
Um, and that's kind of what happened until I had some friends, including you. Oh, you. There we go.
It was kind of, yeah, it was kind of a, yeah, you kind of
um,
got slammed a bit on it, but it
yes,
was meant with the best intention. So,
which is perfectly fine. I'm glad that it's happening. And so you guys everybody just kind of pushed me and they were like, hey, you put in the effort. Let's do this.
yeah, I mean,
And
you're going to make the world a better place, you
so,
know,
that's how it ended up coming to fruition. Fruition.
fruition. Yeah.
Fruition. There we go.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but so the story is definitely
Is it dark? Is it
it is dark.
okay.
Um, my brain tends to go there a lot.
Hmm.
It's generally on the darker side, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I enjoy like
It's
scary
adult. It's
movies
more
and
adult
creepy
though.
things.
It's not like for kids. This is for a young adult or people that are, our
Yes,
age or old, young,
I did
slightly younger.
not put anything. So my editor
Hmm.
did help me spice it up a little bit
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I I don't curse in general most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, you're writing a book about murder,
Yeah.
right? She's like, maybe we should add a couple big girl words in here.
Okay.
So,
That's fair.
um,
That's fair.
so there are a couple curses in there and stuff like that. But it's not, um, I would probably say don't let your little kids read it.
Yeah.
But if my 12-year-old son wanted to read it, I don't think it's anything worse than what he would see on TV or
TV
read in
anyway.
any other book.
Okay. Fair enough.
Um, but so getting into it then, the book, it does have murder in it.
Hmm.
And a couple of the scenes in the book are a little bit graphic.
Okay.
Uh, the main character, whose name is Sarah, it's a little complicated. The name Sarah is
Hmm.
a little complicated. And when you guys read it, you will be able to tell why. Uh, she's actually, it's kind of like a horror suspense.
Good
So
deal.
she is on the run
Hmm.
from someone, and she ends up having to go through and deal with all of these horrible things happening to her. And, she kind of, she does a great job of it.
Hmm.
But, eventually things get too out of hand for her, and she needs to find a way out because she just she
She
can't
can't manage
take
it.
she
Yeah.
can't take it anymore.
Yeah. Understandable.
Um, which, you know, I've had a lot of situations like that in my life. So I some of the things that I write are definitely based off of other things that have happened in my life.
Hmm.
And obviously I've never murdered anyone. I'm throwing that out there, guys.
Good. Well, that's good.
That's
That's good.
yes. So, but I have had some of the situations in the book actually happen to me.
Hmm.
And so if you guys read it, you'll find out a little bit of more about me.
Hmm.
Just not I'm not the murderer in the book.
Got it.
Just throwing
Are
that out
is
there.
what is it cathartic to have written it, years ago? But is it healthy for you to get this out, uh, not out
You
of
know
your
what?
system? But
Technically,
yeah,
yes. It's of course exaggerated
yeah, right.
because it
Well, I
is a
mean,
book.
yeah, you're an artist.
Um,
I mean,
yes.
you're gonna use certain things that you have in your arsenal that you've gone through, but you enhance them accordingly, right? So I get that,
Yes.
and I think your audience will
So,
understand that.
I
So,
mean, I think if I were to write this today, it would be
mhm,
completely different. Um, I did not do a lot of sprucing up from what I wrote when I was, 6 years younger.
sure.
So it is in a completely different style than what I would have written today. But it does bring up a couple different issues on uh she has to deal with stalking and
Mhm,
murders and cults,
mhm.
and vampires are a part of it. Not
Sure.
not real vampires, but um a
Yeah,
vampire cult.
got it.
So uh you know things like that get brought up. So if any of that is stuff that you guys like, check out the
Good.
book.
That's awesome. Now
um
when is this all happening? When's this is it, gonna be on
so
sale? Are you gonna be you're indie
we are
publishing this,
going
right?
to be publishing it,
Mhm.
hopefully at the end of this month, if not this month, at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Um, just as to how fast we can get everything done.
Yeah.
It My editor is a wonderful human being, um, Michaela Jade.
Mhm.
So
She's also an
she,
author, so
yes,
she's
she
a
is.
writer.
So check out her stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and then so I have several I have several editors.
Mhm.
Carl is also helping me with the editing,
Mhm.
as
Good.
well as his wife Donna.
Very good.
So, um,
Powerhouse team. It's good.
yes, we are all working on it as best as we possibly can, as fast as
Good.
we possibly can, to make sure that everything is exactly how we want it, um, before we go through with the whole thing. But we are hoping for the end of this year, the beginning of next.
Good. All right, we'll have you
So,
back on next year once it gets out in the public. Are you gonna be selling it on a website, or how are you gonna do this? Or just
I am
original?
going to be self-publishing. I am
Mhm.
hoping to have it on Amazon.
Good.
Since I've never self-published myself
Mhm.
before, I am going to be having help
Yeah.
from the Rising Tide.
Sure.
So, uh, hopefully, we figure out how to do everything.
Yeah, it's easy.
So,
Once you get rolling, and you've got a ton of experienced people that'll help you. The biggest
yes.
thing is just getting the first story out there. Now, is it gonna be a series or is it one off?
So, I've actually been discussing this with Michaela because Michaela and I talk books all the time,
Sure.
and she has her own series, and I've read
Mhm.
all of them. I love them,
Mhm.
and we were discussing on what the possibilities of the next book would be. Um, so I do think that there will be a series, because we have a lot of ideas going.
Good.
In the book, Sarah does end up finding love. So it is a little bit of a love story, just
Mhm.
kind of a twisted horror love.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool. It's
so
a
we're hoping to play off of that
Mhm.
And so I'm excited to see where that goes. I have not started. I did actually start the next novel 6 years ago after I finished the first one, but I only got a couple pages into it. And now, after redoing and rereading this one, we're
Mhm.
thinking, we were discussing going a different route with it, but it's going to be exciting.
Okay.
Um,
I'm sure it
you
will be.
know,
I wouldn't, and don't put too much
I
pressure on
really
yourself
want to
either. I mean,
give
you'll get it.
details.
Yeah,
Oh
just
no,
wait.
I want to give details, but we're still like
Yeah, you're
going
formatting,
over
and
things
that's yeah,
because
yeah. And this
yes,
is our, this is your introduction as far as I want people to start following you and start, this is an introduction. Not that you need me to help you, but this is why I wanted you on TED Talk so you can get your following started because once this happens and you start becoming more known as an author, as an actual novelist, you're going to be in demand, and this is going to be something that's going to help you. I hope as a launching point.
I really hope
Um,
so because that's the goal here.
Sure, and I think that it's completely achievable. You're doing it in steps, and you're doing this to show other people that they can do it too, and that's a big important thing. You're kind of taking the baton, so to speak, for people like me that have done it, and now you're starting to do it. And sometimes, we do need that push. Hey, I get it. I've had people do that. And books that I've written now 6 years ago are now in development in Hollywood. So it takes time, but it does. I mean, don't worry, it's 6 years ago. That's fantastic. I mean, and you got a fleet of people that are going to be helping you, and you're going to be doing it on your own. So you're going to own the rights to everything you're doing. Super important. That's super
Yes.
important. Um,
The
yeah,
support
sorry.
is fabulous, by the way,
Mm, and it
because
should be.
without you guys, I probably would not have any idea how to do any of this. So,
I mean, well, and
um,
it, the world's a very small place if you want it to be, and it can be a very unwelcoming place if you have your mind set on that. If you help other people, though, it makes it a lot smaller and it makes it a lot better for everybody. And that's all it takes. It just has to, just to get somebody to get a leg up. It can make a world of difference, and I think it's reciprocated. I think it comes back to us. I really do. I really,
and
really do.
the best part about it is this would never be happening if it weren't for the fact that I'm I'm a geek and I went to a con in Peoria a couple years ago, right before the pandemic hit, and I met
Hmm.
some weirdo named Brian
Yeah, that Fez
and
wearer. Yep,
another
yep.
weirdo named Michaela,
Hmm.
and it just spiraled downhill
From
from
that,
there. And that's
where
where
can
I
every
met you
Yes,
and
that's how we met.
everybody else.
Yes. How can people reach you? Are you on, where do you have a website? Do you on Facebook? I know you're on Facebook, Instagram, everything else that we follow you on, but tell everybody where they can reach you.
So if you actually look me up on Google, all you have to do is Google my name, Keisha Acuff or Acuff
Hmm.
Creations, and I pop up pretty much everywhere. I've got an account on DeviantArt. I've got an account on Creatively. I have my own personal website. The URL is kind of long, so if you Google my name, you'll probably find it. I do
Very
not
good.
have it to post right now.
Okay. And we can always
Uh,
throw that in the description later if you want to send it to me. The link,
okay,
we can always put it in the
awesome.
description. No problem.
And so I have a website as well as I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I have my own show called Late Night with Keisha,
She does.
and I go on there and talk about pretty much whatever I feel like at that time.
You promote the hell out of me, and I appreciate it.
I
You've been
do.
very kind. You've been very kind. You've been
I
very
like to
kind.
support the people that support me.
No, I
So
appreciate
I
you.
do show a lot of my friends' artwork and writing. I'm
You've
really
always been
into,
you've always been supportive of my work, so I appreciate it, whether it's my
yes,
books or
I
whatever, my
actually
artwork.
have
Thank
them
you.
all like right here next to me too.
Appreciate it.
um, But yes, so I mean, that's kind of what my YouTube is about, is
Hmm.
writing, reading, artwork, that kind of stuff. But I'm also on a show with the back of the cereal box.
Hmm.
Um, it is called Cryptid Crunch, and we have a show every other weekend, and we go over whatever cryptid we want to talk about that week.
Hmm.
And so that's a fun thing that I do.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch too, and it's a good group. I mean, you got to. Is John on that one with you? John Pica? Is he on with the show
So
or no?
he was on the last show with
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
But my actual co-host is Willow Schuyler.
yeah. Willow's the
Uh,
best.
we
Yep.
did do the first several episodes with JD, the Jersey
Hmm.
Devil, but
Hmm.
unfortunately he is off traveling right now, and
Mm,
so we're kind of looking for someone
cool. Yeah.
that likes cryptid. So,
Mm, got it. Got it.
but that is a fun show. So yeah, you could pretty much catch me anywhere. Everything's online these days.
That's great. No doubt. And I think it's going to continue on that. And hopefully we can use it to our benefit. I mean, that's the thing. My biggest thing is I just want to make sure people are starting to see, the rising star that you are. I think that there's going to be a lot of things. And I really want you to think about this too. You're a mom and you're doing this, and
Yes.
you got chickens and you do all kinds of stuff. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And you're
I
still
run a
doing it.
farm and a
Right. So
house. So,
it's completely achievable. And that's the whole thing. People need to realize this is not something that is too far off. If you can inspire somebody else that's in that's in the same type of situation you're in, then you've won.
I'm not going to lie, there are a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of walking around like a zombie.
Sure. Which
But
we've witnessed a couple. I've I've witnessed that on live feed, watching you
yes, you
walking
have.
at night. So that's a little scary. That's enough to
Thank you.
make me. Yeah, that's a book in itself right there. The Dark Nights. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. But um, stick around. I appreciate your time and everything, Keisha. I'm gonna end the show
And thank you
here,
for
but
having me on here.
oh, my pleasure. And you guys want to check out everything that Keisha's doing, so stick around, and I will be back. All right, give me 1 second. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know that we had a couple issues with the internet. Not a big deal. That's life right now, and I'm just glad everybody's safe through the storms and that. Keisha's, like I said, she's got a great personality. Her mindset's where it should be with everything. I think that humility is something that she is all about. Um, and it's not easy as a creative to have that. Not many people do, whether you're creative or not. But make sure you check out everything that she's doing, because I think you guys are going to be better for it. Check out the book when it's going to be coming out. You'll be able to see it here too. I'll be making sure I promote it, and I have Keisha back on once it goes live, and we can make this thing happen for her. So check out everything that she's doing, and we'll put it in the description. We'll find the link, and I'll put it in there before this airs. So thanks again, guys. Try to have a good week and do something good for somebody, and promote local if you can. That would be awesome. Have a great holiday. Thanks.